Okay, folks, it is Wednesday evening, and I wanted to go over for folks who don't have a clue where to start prepping. I want to go over a couple things to help you. Okay, there are very myriad ways to save food. Um, So I'm going to go over the types of food that you can save and how long they will last. Okay. This here is carrots. This is dried carrots. Okay. And as you can see in the top of the jar, I have a couple oxygen absorbers. I've also got on this side of the jar, I've got like a desiccant pack that I make, which is a coffee filter with a little bit of rice in it. And what that does is it keeps the water out of the jar. And as you can see, this is a reused jar. This is ragu. And you hear that pop? That means this jar is no good. However, there's no pest in the jar. So this is one of the things when you go through your pantry you want to check on. You want to check to see if you can hear that pop. If you can, then everything that's in that jar is suspect. Okay? That's a lot of carrots that is suspect right now. Okay? So that's one way to store food is dry food. Okay? Now, you can put them in jars. You can put them in Mylar. I prefer the jars because they're just easier to reuse. Just how I do it, uh, it's up to you how you want to do it. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of videos online on how to store dry goods and how long they're good for, and where you want to store them. Okay, today I'm just going over the basics, the real basics, because a lot of people don't know. So that's one way you can store food is dry food. A second way you can store food is canned foods. Now, what I like to do is you can see this expired 7/24. Okay, so July 24th, according to the can, this expired. But I'm looking at the can and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm seeing no rust. I'm seeing no seals broke. I'm feeling no bends in the can. This is still good for about 6 more months. Okay, so this is one of the items that I'm going to use up over winter. Okay. So with canned goods, you want to get the kind that does not have the pop top. Because if you get the kind with the pop top, unfortunately, I have found that those pop tops tend to go bad even when properly stored. So, everything is about safety, right? So with something like this, people say, oh, well, it'll last years past that date. I highly recommend that if you can, use it before the expiration date or put it to the front of your pantry to use as quick as possible. Okay? And then, of course, as you use up food, you replace it with new food and it goes to the back of your line of food. So that's your second way you can store food is just by canned goods, right? The third way you can store food is you can do like I've done here, and that is can up your own food. Now, this is beef stew. So with beef stew, you have to use a pressure canner. Not a pressure cooker, a pressure canner. Okay? Because it has meat in it. Now, since this is sealed, you say I'm checking the middle, I'm getting no pop. So, since this is sealed, I made this in March of this year. This will be used up by March of 2026. And as you see, I've written the date on the top of it. So I use up any of my home canned meats, I use up within 2 years. FDA recommends 1 year. I have found that 2 years is as far as I want to push it, as far as nutritional value goes and taste and texture, right? So within 2 years, use it up or go feed it to your pigs or chickens. Another way that you can save food is to buy the individually packaged freeze-dried meals. Now, I happen to like Peak 2. They are pretty expensive, but I have found that these are really good on hiking trips, and it has a very high protein content per meal. So, you know, if you're out and about, and one of these meals is actually 2 servings, so just be aware of that. And I use these when I go hiking or hunting, and they're easy to throw into your backpack. Again, it has an expiration date on it, but these will last up to 15 years. Okay? I don't have them that long. I normally use them up within 3 to 5 years. So I'll use one and replace it. So I have an ongoing stockpile of individually freeze-dried meals. A second thing you can do is you can buy the number 10 cans. And this is Augustin Farms. There's Augustin Farms. There's Patriot Supply. There's Thrive Life. There's Nutrient Survival. There's Ready Hour. There's Mountain House. You can get them in the number 10 cans, or you can get them in the buckets. I have both. Okay. I recommend the number 10 cans. And these are 3 pounds, 10 ounces that's in here. And this will normally have about, they say 34 servings. I think it's only about 25 servings, but that's how much I eat. Okay. So it says it has a shelf life of up to 10 years. Yeah, that's been proven to be incorrect. These actually have a shelf life of up to 25 years. But this is my long-term storage. So this gets put up, it's on a shelf, it doesn't get used. You see, I haven't even took the tape off from where it was shipped, right? And what I like to do is I write the year on the can. Normally, I didn't on this one because I think it's on the side. But I write the year that I bought it. So, again, I'm going to rotate that to the back of my stockpile. So it goes to the back. And then as I use one of these, the minute you open this, you have to use it within like 2 months. Okay, so the minute you open one of these big cans like this, now you have to use it all up. Okay, so don't think you can open it, put the seal back, put the top back on it, and it still be good. No, once you open these, you have to use it immediately. Okay, I wouldn't recommend you having it for more than a week or 2 weeks before you use it all up. That's just my recommendation. They say it can last longer than that, like 2-3 months. No, no. Okay, this is food. I'm not going to take a chance with botulism. Now, There's other ways you can also store food. You can freeze it, you can smoke it, um, you can turn your meat into jerky. So there's other, these are the most popular right here. This is the most popular, and what I think most people are going to do is they're going to go for the already canned up food. Okay? Um, Simple, easy, full meal, ready to go, right? Some of the things you want to look at when you buy your canned foods is you want to look at what's in it, how many vitamins are in it. Actually take the time to read the back of the can. Okay, a lot of people don't do that. Read the back of the can, see what kind of protein content it has, see what kind of calories is in it, uh, get an idea of how to cook it. I mean, it has directions right on it, how to cook it, right? That's efficient. Okay. Um, the difference between this type of canned food and like your Spam or uh, your actually canned meats that come from like Keystone or a brand of that nature. Um, as long as the can is not damaged, right? So anytime you buy canned foods, you want to run your hands down it, and make sure there's no dents in it, there's no creases anywhere, um, because that compromises the can. Secondarily, you do not want to put this in a box in an area where the temperature goes up and goes down and goes up and goes down. What I mean is it's outside somewhere where it's freezing and getting hot and freezing and getting hot. You want to have this in a temperature controlled area. I keep all of my canned goods in the house. Okay, I keep all of my food in the house for several reasons. Number one is you don't want to spend the money to buy the food and then you go out there thinking, oh, I got this huge pantry, and you go out there to grab something that you need and you find out, oh, hey, now I've had rats and mice run all over it. Now I have a chance of getting hantavirus because they've pissed on all the cans, right? Or the cans rust, right? Uh, a good example is pineapple. Pineapple will literally eat the can. So anytime you buy pineapple in cans, that is something that you need to use by the best by date. Um, it's not good for any kind of long-term storage because pineapple is very acidic. So it will literally eat the can. Okay. You will also find this with some tomato sauces and tomato paste. Okay. Sometimes, depending on the brand, it will eat the can. Okay. So you want to be aware of that so that when you're buying stuff for your pantry, that you're not buying things that, okay, I'm storing this for this week and it's supposedly good, but I go to get it and lo and behold, now I've got a mess in my pantry because the can has either swollen or it has a small hole in it and now the contents are all over your pantry. And that can eat into other cans and cause them to rust, and now you're out not just that can, but several cans. So, several people have put out videos about how to start prepping. What I like to do is I like to make a list, and this is everything that I eat during a week, and I make a meal plan for that week. Um, and that meal plan, okay, this week is potatoes and eggs. Okay, potatoes, eggs, peas, and meat is what I have for this week, for this whole week. Okay, so on Sunday, I made all my meals for the whole week, right? So kielbasa sausage, potatoes with eggs and milk and peas and my spices and I make up 5 or 6 meals out of that one cooking session. And then all I got to do is throw it in the microwave, boom, fast meal, good to go, run, and we're ready to roll, right? For those of you who do not cook, there's another way that you can save food. Another way you can save food is you can get the pre-packaged microwave meals and keep them in your freezer. Now, please be aware that most of the newer freezers are not like my stand-up freezer, which stays at -10. Most of the newer freezers will stay at like 25 degrees, okay, 25 to 30 degrees. If you want to store meats or these prepackaged microwave meals, you need to make sure that your freezer can go down to -5 or -10, as cold as you can get it, okay? The reason I say that is if you lose power and you have no way to produce power to keep that freezer or refrigerator running, if you keep it at -5 to -10, it will last you longer before the food starts to defrost. It can last you 2 or 3 days before the food starts to defrost, as long as you're not in and out of it. And then, in all likelihood, you will probably get your power back by that time. Unless you're way out in the country, and then, well, you know, if you are heavily invested in the freezer and you've got a lot of money into your freezer, you need to think about having some kind of backup power for that freezer. Yes, that's a lot of money. I understand this. But if you don't cook, you can eat straight out of these cans. These foods are already cooked. You can eat straight out of the can, but I can tell you from being a truck driver and having to eat out of a can like that because I had no way to heat it up, it tastes like crap. Just saying. If you have a microwave, again, if you're relying on microwave meals in the freezer, you're going to have to find some way to power your microwave so you can cook your food. You can spend a lot of money trying to go to like McDonald's or Burger King or Subway or something of this nature. I prefer to save as much money as I can on the front side and face the issues that are going to come up on the back side. So that's kind of my prepping 101 on different types of foods. Some people don't know, and I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here for people who are watching my channel, but some people really do not know. And so giving simple information out like this helps people to think about where they want to put their money. Now, if you do not have a lot of money, I would highly recommend that you go with the canned foods that you and your family eat. One of the good things I found driving a truck, I can tell you Chef Boyardee is edible whether it's cooked or not. I can tell you that from experience. I can tell you from experience, a little can of potted meat goes a long way when you're hungry, okay? A can of Vienna sausage goes a long way when you're hungry, all right? And you don't have to cook it. So you want to think of this when you're making your pantry. You want to have a 5-stage solution for food. Your first stage is going to be canned goods and your own canned goods. Your second stage is going to be dried goods. Your third stage is going to be, okay, I've got freeze-dried meals. I can cook a freeze-dried meal. Your fourth stage is going to be freeze-dried buckets or big number 10 cans. Your fifth stage is going to be, where can I procure food? That is like hunting, fishing, going and trading with somebody who actually has it. That's your fifth stage. So those are your stages that you want to focus on. You want to focus on only what you eat. Don't buy things you don't eat. Okay? Because you're wasting your money. I have got probably 50 to 60 pounds of pinto beans, dried pinto beans. I don't eat dried pinto beans. Okay? They're going to the chickens because I don't eat it. But I listen to all these prepper channels out there saying, hey, you need beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice. So what did I do? I went and I bought beans and rice. And I never used it. So, rice I do eat. The beans I never do. So, don't store things that you're not going to eat. Okay? A good treat for your little ones is to get like freeze-dried ice cream, freeze-dried fruit. Okay, these will store for a long period of time. And if you need it for a treat, you've got a treat for the little ones. The whole point of if a hurricane comes in like we're supposed to have, which is why I'm making this video today, if you lose power and you have little ones in the house, you want to try and make life as normal as possible for the little ones. So, you know, a little treat like freeze-dried ice cream drops or freeze-dried strawberries, right? These are nice little snacks. They're good for them, and you've got it on the shelf if you need it, okay? That is something that you really need to think about, okay? A lot of people have moved into areas that are prone to tornadoes and hurricanes. They haven't a clue how to prepare for an emergency like this, okay? Of course, while you're storing your food, you also want to store water. Now, you can store bottled water. Bottled water is good for up to 6 months, okay? If you keep it out of the sunlight. If it's in and out of the sunlight, it's not going to last you as long, maybe a month, okay? That's up to you how you store your water. Again, there's thousands of videos online about that. But I wanted to go over this really basic stuff for people who are just starting out and they feel bombarded by all of the information coming at them from these really, really, really well-intentioned but very well-known prepper channels, and they haven't a clue where to start. So where you start at is a real simple. If you buy corned beef hash and you eat 1 can of corned beef hash a week, buy 2. Put 1 in storage. Then the next week when you go to buy 2 again, you put this one, you pull this one out and you put the 2 in storage. You see where I'm going with this? This very quickly becomes a pantry. Appalachian Homestead with Patera says buy 5 cans a week. You'd be surprised how much food you'll have after a month of doing that. Okay? 6 months, it'll blow your mind. Okay? That's how you start. It's real simple. If you use a jar of spaghetti sauce every month, and you know you use 1 jar of spaghetti sauce every month. Buy 2. Now you have 2 months supply. Simple, right? But people don't think of this, because they're in such a hurry and hurry, 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 hurry. Okay? You can store microwave meals. There's a lot of companies that actually that's what they focus on is a microwave meals. But you have to be aware is if you do, you have to be aware of if you lose powers, are you going to lose all that food, right? So back to the basics, just simple basics here, and don't get overwhelmed by thinking that I have to buy 5 years of food. No, you have to buy enough food to get you through the crisis you're facing. So whether that be a hurricane, an earthquake, or God forbid a house fire, or something of this nature, you need enough food to get you through that crisis. That could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, right? For me, I know in the wintertime, my hours get cut down in the wintertime. This is a normal thing in trucking. So in the winter, I know I don't have a lot of money to spend on extra groceries. So I stock my groceries prior to winter. That's why I grow a lot of my stuff, is because it saves me money doing that. So I stock that for winter. Okay? It's just something I got into years ago, and I've done it ever since. Of course, I've made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. This was a mistake. I'm not scared to show it, right? So all of these carrots will be going in the trash because I can't trust it. And some of you really hardcore preppers are going, no, 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 it's still good, it's still good, it's dry, it ain't wet. No, no. Okay, this is my choice. If I pop a top like that, I get rid of the food in it. I'm not going to take a chance. That's just me. That's my choice. That's my money. It's my choice. Okay? I hope this helps somebody. People don't think about this until they need it. And then they're like, why didn't anybody tell me? Why didn't anybody? I'm telling you now. Okay? This is your prepping 101 from me. Just simple basics. Okay? These are the different types of foods that you can store. This is the different ways you can store it. And some of the things you need to look out for. Okay? Always store your food in a temperature controlled area, in a pest free area. Okay? With your dry goods, I will add this little caveat. All dry goods are coming from warehouses that honestly have more flies than your local dump. You want to make sure you put all of your dried goods into the freezer for a minimum of 24 hours. I recommend a week. Don't take a chance on storing up food in Mylar bags and then you open it up and there's all kinds of worms in it. Because all dry goods have got eggs in them. And I hate to tell you that. I know some of you probably want to throw up right now. But that is the truth. Okay? There's no way that the manufacturer can ensure that these dry goods do not have any kind of pest eggs in them. The same thing with your rice. Okay? You want to do the same thing with your rice. You do not want to store up brown rice. You want to store up white rice. Okay? All this fancy jasmine rice and wild rice and all these fancy rices do not store well. White rice will store well, and you can add your spices or whatever to it to make whatever rice meal you want to make out of it. And if you haven't tried it, rice pudding is very, very good. Okay. Um, that's what I have for you. And hopefully, I'll be able to put out another video on Saturday. It all depends on the weather, which is why I'm doing this video tonight. So, bicycle!